Hey CMA buddies, let's today start with digital strategy. And digital strategy, it's module 11 of your strategic business management. So we'll start with the introduction first, that is 11.1. And in 11.1, we'll start with something called as digital technologies. So let's understand what exactly is digital technology. It basically includes electronic tools, systems, devices, and resources. So four things you need to take an account of is when we talk about digital technologies, it's electronic tools, systems, devices, and resources that generate or store data, right? So primary work or the primary operation or the primary idea of having these digital technologies is to basically store data, right? So in what forms they are available, either they are electronic tools, systems, devices, and resources, right? Now digital technology is a technology in which information is represented in digital form. What we call as binary, if you would have heard of it. Now when we talk about digital technology, it's all stored in digital form of zeros and ones, right? So all the digital technology that we talk about here, the information is represented or stored in a digital form, that is in a binary form, that is 0 and 1. Now examples of these can be either online games, multimedia, social media, and mobile phones, right? So this is the basic idea of what exactly digital technology means. Now there are two important terms that are closely related but different in scope. So please understand these two things, very important. First one is what is digital transformation, and then we will be discussing about digital strategy. Now what exactly is digital transformation? Now drive changes in three areas. So when we talk about transformation, there are three areas which are concerned, or it basically brings changes in three areas. What are they? First is customer experience, the second one is operational processes, and the third one is business models, right? So three things we talk about in digital transformation is bringing changes in three areas. One is customer experience, second one is operation processes, and the third one is business models. This process requires coordination across the entire organizations and involves business culture changes. So two things that this process does is basically it brings the coordination among the across the entire organization, and it also involves business culture changes. Fine. Then the second thing we talk about is digital strategy. What exactly it means? Focuses on technology and not culture. So when we talk about transformation, we are primarily talking about culture over here. But when we are talking about digital strategy, we are talking about technology over here, right? So that's the basic difference between both of them. It basically uses technology to create capabilities a company needs to become digital business. So it talks about the capabilities, how the technology can bring a radical change in the digital business of an organization. It sets down a strategy, or rather setting down a strategy is an important aspect of transformation process and ensures the technology is being implemented in a way that supports the business objectives. So they both are very correlated to each other. But you need to understand the transformation talks about the culture, whereas the strategy talks about the technical aspect of it or the technology part of it. It uses technologies for what? For creating capabilities that a company needs to become a digital business. Setting down a strategy is an important aspect of the transformation process and ensures that technology is being implemented in a way that supports the business objectives. So basically you would need this technology or the strategy rather to support the transformation process. So without technology you cannot make the transformation. That's what it talks about, and that technology is being implemented in a way that supports the business objectives. So the primary area or the primary idea of a digital strategy is to support the business objectives, right? With a clear understanding of company's purpose, one can avoid wasting time and resources implementing technologies that doesn't enable new competitive advantage. So with clear understanding of company's purpose, one can avoid. How you can avoid? You can what all you can avoid if you have a clear understanding of company's purpose, then you can avoid a lot of time, wasting of time and resources that implements technology. If that is being avoided, in that case that won't let you enable the new competitive advantage. So if you need to gain a competitive advantage, you need to have a clear understanding of the company's purpose. Fine. Now there is a person called as Paritosh Basu. Now he says, according to him, in present era, all large business entities have embarked upon the journey of digital transformation. Right? Embark means initiate or to begin. Right? So we all see that in whatever large business entities, even for that matter, even the medium and small enterprises have basically started their journey on digital transformation. They rely a lot on digital stuff for their business operations because that makes their job relatively easier. and they can store a lot of data, and the various advantages of having a digital system in place, right? They have automated and weaponized operating and financial policies. We all know they have basically automated. Simple example can be that of an Excel. You simply put in the data and it's being stored, and whenever you want you can retrieve that, right? Now being AI also coming into the play, that becomes all the more easier also, and it has become all the more automated. So that's what it talks about. So they have automated and weaponized operating and financial policies, processes, and ICT systems with the help of technologies to stay ahead of and or relevant with competitive advantage, right? So basically it has helped you to automate and weaponize operating and financial policies. Second thing is processes, and third one is ICT stands for information and communication technology, and with the help of this technology they stay ahead or relevant with the competitive advantage, or they gain advantage over their competitors, right? Then we talk about MSME entities, that is medium and small scale enterprises. Now, when we talk about medium or small scale or MSME entities, they also have joined the bandwagon. Means they are also on this journey that I've already spoken about. It's not only the large entities that have got into the implementation of digital technology, even MSME entities have joined the bandwagon. Few startups are helping these entities with digital solutions built with innovative applications of 8 deep technologies or 8 deep digital technologies. Please remember this word, it's not innovative, it is innovative, right? We'll understand what exactly is innovative in the coming paragraph. But MSME entities are also part of this digital transformation, and few startups are basically helping them to provide them with digital solutions with the innovative applications, right, of 8 deep digital technologies. Fine. Now, many of the above said solutions are of disruptive and disruptive nature. These are all different words, but they have their own meaning. They have their own meaning, and that has been devised to make the idea of this digital transformation more, easy or simple to comprehend. So basically the three terms we learned is innovative in the last sentence wherein we spoke about the MSME ones. Now many of the above said solutions are of disruptive and disruptive nature. We will understand what exactly these terms are. When we talk about disruptive solutions, have either destroyed certain conventional for manufacturing, marketing and supply chain operations, or replaced traditional products by combining many functional capabilities in one device, right? So basically disruptive solutions means either they have destroyed certain conventional means older methods of doing something, of manufacturing, marketing and supply chain operations, or replaced traditional products, that is the primitive kind of products we used to use, by combining many functional capabilities in one device. So everything is under one roof or one device. For example, smartphones have almost killed traditional cameras and torches. That's the best example of disruptive, right? Now what is the second one? That is disruptive. When we talk about disruptive solutions, these are basically unique strategy driven innovations for P2P, that is peer to peer, B2C, that is business to consumer, or B2B, that is business to business, right? Networking, as well as time and cost efficient processes for service deliveries with safety, speed and quality, right? So when we talk about disruptive, what they have done is they have destroyed the conventional ways of manufacturing, marketing and supply chain operations, and they have replaced traditional products by combining many functional capabilities in one device. Best example is your smartphones being used for traditional cameras and torches. Whereas when you talk about disruptive solutions, they are unique strategy driven innovations for P2P, that is peer to peer, B2C, that is business to consumer, and B2B, that is business to business networking, as well as time and cost efficient processes for service deliveries with safety, speed and quality, right? Let's look at this diagram. Maybe that would help you to understand this entire process in a better way. So basically when we talk about say, let's take an example of MSME digital lag, right? So lag means what? They were lagging behind, or they were not exactly having the digital devices or digital kind of services with them, right? So when they were lacking digital transformation, then what they did was, first of all, they adopted automation, so that they automated operating and financial policies, right? Then second thing is technology adoption. So what they did was they implemented 8 deep digital technologies. What are these 8 deep digital technologies? We'll discuss that later, so keep it aside. Then we talk about innovative applications, wherein we say build innovative digital solutions, right? Innovative is basically something part of innovation only, but which is very creative also in nature. So that's where the word innovative comes from, and it eventually leads to MSME digital advancement. So there is an enhanced competitiveness and efficiency. Right. With this, we finish 11.1. Now moving to 11.2. Now 11.2, we will be talking about what? We will be discussing about digital transformation for competitive advantages. Right. So how does digital transformations give you an added advantage in competitive advantage? Right. Now, two of the main objectives of an organization while embracing digital technologies or while adopting digital technologies are, first of all, to outmaneuver competitors. Right. To outmaneuver competitors is basically a phrase. It simply means to gain advantage over your rivals by being more clever, by either being through strategic applications or by being skillful. So this is basically a phrase, that is to outmaneuver the competitors. So this is basically a phrase, right? It says to outmaneuver competitors. So outmaneuver competitors is basically to gain advantage over whom? Over your rivals or your competitors by being more clever or being more strategic or being more skillful. Right? That's the first main objective. The second main objective is basically to attain sustainable competitive advantage or growth and prosperity. So two things: you need to outmaneuver your competitors. That's the first objective of organization while embracing digital technology. And the second one is to attain sustainable competitive advantage or growth and prosperity. Right. Now there's something called as trans created. This is something which we have discussed earlier also. I'll just reiterate that. Trans created solutions are offered by an entity to solve customers' problems, meet their latent demand, and simplify operating processes. So basically you create a trans created solution for what? For offering, basically their trans created solutions are offered by an entity or by a company to solve the customer's problem, to meet the latent demand. Latent means something which is very dormant or inactive, right? So certain demands which no one else is catering to, or other people know that this is basically a demand, but no one is addressing it, so no one talks about it. So basically to meet the latent demand, to solve the customer problems and simplify operating processes. So that's why you need a trans created solutions. For this entity, what does entity do? For this, entity starts operating in a strategically created blue ocean marketplace in that particular sector. Right? So what do you mean by a blue ocean marketplace? Blue ocean marketplace simply means creating a new or very uncontested market space. Right? Now opposite of blue ocean will be red ocean. That means something which is very crowded or there is an existing market. So basically blue ocean market space talks about something very innovative in nature. Now trans created means what? It means creation of a new versatile product or related business model, transforming a traditional one by the one run by the legacy system. So basically trans-created means adopting to new cultures only through creation of some new versatile product or something which is more new in nature and something which is more related to the business model. So that's what is trans-created. When you talk about innovative applications helping in implementing strategic plan, you enjoy first mover advantage. First mover advantage means, for example, if someone is launching, best example can that be of a Swiggy and Zomato, right? Now you can see there are various service delivery apps, but who was the first one who started it? Say Swiggy started it. So whenever you start it first, you always have a first mover advantage, right? You get a lot of advantage. First of all, you get a bigger market share, and secondly, you can tap the customers easily. And thirdly, you can charge the price as per your convenience. So that's what this talks about. So trans-created, creation of new versatile product or related business model, transforming a traditional one by a legacy system. Innovative applications helps in implementing strategic plan, enjoy first mover advantage. So you have a first mover advantage. It is termed as innovation. It is a combination of two words, that is innovation and invention. So that's what is innovation, something we have spoken about in 11.1 also. So I said that when I come into the next chapter, I'll explain you. So innovation just means that combination of innovation, invention and creation. So it's three things. First is innovation. Innovation is you create something, then you invent something, right? And then basically you create it. So basically you innovate, you invent and you create, driven by distinctively formulated strategies. Fine. Then objective. What is the objective? To generate and share values. Here value is culmination of time, quality, greener technology, minimize risk, and organization profit. That is in terms of money, or what we call as in monetary terms. So objective basically of embracing digital technology is to generate and share values. Here value, generate and share values, what exactly means value, what exactly value means is, it's explained, it's a culmination, or it is a sum total of time, quality, greener technology, minimize risk, and organization profit. Organization profit, we talk about not the culture or anything, we talk about money, right? Emerging idea on digital business strategies may be categorized in four major groups. So emerging ideas in digital business strategies basically are categorized into four major groups. What are these four groups? One is scope, scale, agility, and sources of value creation. Right. Now, this again we will understand with the help of an diagram. Maybe if you can have a look at the diagram at the time of your examination, it will be very easy for you to recollect what are the main objectives of embracing digital technology. So first of all, you develop digital business strategy. You categorize strategies based on scope, scale, agility, and value creation. Right. Then you implement innovative applications wherein you use technology to execute strategic plans and gain first mover advantage. Then you talk about achieving sustainable growth, that is aim for long-term prosperity and competitive advantage. You generate and share values wherein you create a balance of time, quality, technology, risk, and profit. More profit in terms of money, that is monetary terms. Offer trans-created solutions, that is develop innovative solutions to create or to meet customer needs and simplify processes, and to outmaneuver competitors. That's a phrase we read. Focus on gaining a competitive advantage through digital innovation. Right. Now, just moving on. What is the process of interplay of business strategy formulation and technology explained graphically through the following diagram? So what we are going to learn here is process of interplay of business strategy formulation and technology. Right. Interplay of what? Business strategy formulation and technology. Now this is basically explained, and this is done by two people, that is Chenias and Hess. Right. Now this is the diagram that we are talking about. It says when you talk about digital transformation, there is a strategy initiation, then there's basically a triggering event. So you basically trigger something and then you initiate a strategy. Now this is basically a very deliberate strategy. That means you voluntarily do it. Now when you initiate a strategy, there is an organizational sub-communities. Now what they do is they have technologically mediated practices, and eventually they have emergent candidate. Now this organizational sub-communities also can give you emergent candidates. So these are all correlated, and finally you realize your strategy. Now this is basically contextual condition. This is activity based production of strategy contents, and finally this is the outcome. Outcome is realized strategy. Let's understand that in detail. Now this is basically the activity based process model. It is adopted from Hendrickson and Lind 2014. Just for your information, need not get into nitty-gritties of that. So let's understand this digital transformation, this diagram, that is interplay of these two things in more detail. The first thing that it says is the striking factor, or the most important factor in the process of interplay between strategy and digital technologies is identification of emergent needs, problems, and risk of customers. So three things it is trying to address is, first of all, it basically identifies the emergent needs. What's the need that is there as of now? Then what are the problems that there are arising, and what are the risks that are there for the customers? So these are the first three things that you need to devise as far as this digital transformation process is concerned, or the interplay that we are talking about. Identifying an opportunity for a new business and its revenue model can also be prompted by digital transformation parallelly while infusing business strategies with technology, or vice versa. Now it says that identifying an opportunity. So you are looking for an opportunity for new business and its revenue model. Now can also be prompted by digital transformation. So how do you basically initiate that? If you are looking for a new opportunity of a business and revenue model, it basically starts with something called as digital transformation, but that itself is not sufficient. Parallelly, you also have to infuse business strategies with technology, or it can be other way around. That is, you infuse business strategy with the digital transformation. This all is done through technology only. So that's what this talks about. Fine. Then business entity generates a lot of data. That is true. Business entity that you are working with generates a lot of data while conducting transactions. Best example can be that of a bank. Since there are millions of customers generating billions of transactions, these data can further be collated for transaction types, time duration, repeats for error, age group, gender, range value, so on and so forth. So there are many examples of that. So basically these business entities that you talk about, they generate a lot of data while conducting their transactions. Best example with respect to transaction can be that of a bank, because there are a lot of customers that are generating billions of transactions per day. So this data can further be broken down, or it can be collated, or it can be brought together for what? For transaction types, time duration, repeat for errors, age group, gender, range value, so on and so forth. Right? Then you talk about cognitive tools from AI, machine learning and big data analytics. So these three things are very important. That's how the digital transformation will come into the place. So cognitive tools from AI, machine learning and big data analytics can now be used for further processing of such data. This kind of processed information can enable who? It can enable chief experience officers, that is CXO what we call, to draw inferences with respect to business that has been done or can be done. So this all data, that is first of all the transactions that are being generated, they're being culminated, and the various cognitive tools that are using from AI, machine learning and big data analytics. This can basically help people like CXO, that is chief experience officers, for what? For drawing inferences, or they can come to a conclusion, or they basically use it for their business to grow, and this has been already done or it can be done, right? So it helps you in both the ways, especially for the CXOs. Such information can trigger innovative thoughts to create new business ventures that can be offered to customers through digital solutions and media. So what this can do is they can trigger innovative thoughts, or they can basically give you that spark of basically triggering an innovative thought, creating an innovative thought to create new business ventures that can be offered to customers. How? Through digital solutions and media. These can be taken into physical marketplace for implementation and revenue generation. This is called as PDP, that is physical digital physical loop, right? So this is what it talks about. This is the basic process of interplays between the strategy and the technology. Let's look at this diagram just for your clear understanding. This is a digital transformation cycle. It starts with identifying of needs, then it generates data, then it processes the data, it draws inferences, it gives you innovative solutions, and it implements the solution. So if you just look at this figure, you would be able to recollect what we have read right now, right? And finally, we come to what is called as common elements of digital strategy, right? So what are the common elements of a digital strategy? How do I remember this? I remember this as CAMP, right? A short form. I find it comfortable. If you also do, you can remember that way. First of all, you choose a leader. So C stands for choosing a leader. Choosing a right person will depend on company culture, structure and priorities. So what exactly is the company culture? That's the first thing. Then what is its structure, and what are their priorities? That will help you to choose the right leader. Leaders' influence will need to match the scope of digital strategy, right? So whatever your influence is, or leaders' influence, that needs to match the scope of digital strategy. Else what it will do is it will be difficult to streamline the strategy with each department to make necessary changes. So if it is not in sync with the basically the digital strategy, then the departments cannot come together and make the business more profitable, or for that matter there will be a lot of friction among all the departments. So you have to make sure that you choose a leader. You got to choose a right person, and that will depend on the company's culture, structure and priorities. Now the leader's influence will match the scope of digital strategy, else it will be very difficult to streamline the strategy with each department to make necessary changes, right? The second one is attack versus defend. So A here stands for attack. Just for remembering this, I have taken one keyword from it. So second one is attack, and the comparison is between attack versus defend. So what exactly is trying to say? Companies who do well to categorize their potential threats and opportunities in digital business, right? So digital strategy, what it does is it basically helps you to categorize potential threats and opportunities as far as digital business is concerned, then compare these against their own purpose. This clarifies whether a proactive or a defensive stance needs to be taken to guide new initiatives, right? So basically you have to define as to how well digital strategy is categorizing the potential threats and opportunities. You then have to compare this against their own purpose, and then you have to this will basically help you to realize whether you have to take a proactive or a defensive stance for taking guiding on new initiatives, right? Then you take a measured approach. Now, digital strategy usually assess whether technology will really complement or grow the current business. Fine. By taking measured approach. So M here is the word I have taken for CAM, that is measured approach. Now digital strategy usually assess whether technology will really complement or grow the current business. By taking measured approach, what it will do is or rather measured approach with respect to what? With respect to implementing digital strategy, one can avoid wasting resources on initiatives that don't align with business needs and priorities. Right. So digital strategy usually assess whether technology will be really complementing or growing the current business. So whatever digital process you have adopted or the technologies that you have adopted, that should be helping your business, right? Or it should be able to grow your business. For this, you take a measured approach with respect to what? With respect to implement digital strategy. What one can do is they can avoid wasting a lot of resources on initiative that doesn't align with the business needs and priorities. Finally, future proof. I've taken P for this just for you to remember easily. The proof, that is future proof that we are talking about. Now, goal of digital transformation: create an appropriate foundation for digital business. Right, what exactly is the goal of digital transformation? It's basically the foundation for digital business. This means that an organization can continue to reinvent itself. That means they can change as per the need of the hour, or as per the customer preferences, or if the business dynamics itself is changing, they can reinvent themselves as and when required to keep up with changes in technology and customer expectations. So basically they can reinvent themselves, they can to keep up with what changes in technologies and customer expectations. Digital strategy should be forward looking, right? Should be able to carry companies through changes in digital economy in a way that continues to bring digital edge to the business. So basically digital technology should be forward looking. That means they should be more futuristic. They should be able to carry companies through changes in digital economy and in a way that companies bring a digital edge or digital advantage to the businesses, right? So 4 things that you need to remember when we talk about common elements of digital strategy is: 1, choose a leader; second is attack versus defend; then take a measured approach; and future proof. And you remember it as CAM, right? Let's have a look at the diagram. We will be able to recollect what are the various elements. So how to implement digital strategy? First of all, you choose a leader. That stands for C. It says selecting the right leader ensures alignment and effective strategy execution across departments. Second one is A, attack versus defend. That is categorizing threats and opportunities, helps determine the strategic approach. Third one is M, that is assessing technology alignment, prevents resources waste. And then is P, that is proof. What proof? Future proof. It talks about creating a foundation for continuous reinvention, ensures long-term digital advantage that you have, right? With this, we finished 11.2. In the next video, we'll be looking at 11.3. If you have not subscribed to my channel yet, please do that, and keep learning because exams are around the corner. And all the best.